It's great to be alive and love.
And good morning. What is today? Wednesday. Apparently, it is Wednesday, July 15th. And today, I'd like to share some updates and interesting things that I'm looking at, reading, learning about in Business Central. So, basically, some news and updates. So, let's just get started. So, recently, I've been seeing a lot about CDS, Common Data Service, and I believe it's a relatively new integration or synchronization between Business Central and CDS. And it was announced a while back. I don't remember when it was announced. I think it was might have been at the BizApp Summit, perhaps. And then I saw that fellow MVP Shannon Mullins was working on enabling the CDS integration between BC and CDS, which it looked like she was doing that in order to integrate with Dynamics 365, which I'm assuming that means CE or CRM. And she ran into some technical issues or challenges there. And then Andre, he responded to her tweet, but then not too long after that, he presented his BC CDS integration slash synchronization solution that he did for a company at the BC Birinar. And that was pretty fancy looking. So he showed how he did that, and he explained that he did that in order to get data out of BC in order to get it to Azure Data Lake. So CDS was just an intermediary staging area for more easily getting the data out of BC in order to eventually push it to a data lake. So that was a second scenario. And then just recently, Ava, she helps maintain a lot of the Microsoft docs. She shared that there was an article on docs about the configuration of the Common Data Service connection or integration between BC and CDS, and that had been up for a couple days, but she just retweeted that to get some attention. And that document includes both documentation and a video. And it shows how to configure that and set that up from within BC, and also has, I believe, an overview of how to do some of the AL coding to make that integration more powerful or add the advanced functionality. So I thought that was interesting. I'm basically seeing CDS popping up everywhere, and I am curious what the use cases are. One is apparently to have some integration with Dynamics 365 CRM customer engagement. The second one that I'm aware of as more of a typical integration is with Power Platform, which makes sense, a Power Platform connection to CDS. But I don't know what the business use case is. So, is this something that people are working on? Are you looking to have access to your BC data from within the Power Platform via CDS? Or does it make more sense to go against APIs and use the out-of-the-box connectors or custom connectors? I'm curious to know why you would go to the trouble of synchronizing and replicating your data from BC to CDS. What are the use cases for that scenario, and is it worth the cost and the effort to do that? I'm honestly curious what people are doing with CDS. I know many people are very gung-ho on CDS. I'm not quite sold on it, given my typical customer, which is a smaller customer. It's challenging just to get them to use the core functionality of ERP products and to properly utilize the system to make their lives easier and just get their day-to-day work done. So I'm curious what the scenarios are for CDS and how I might introduce that to my typical customer such that they're not overwhelmed or think of this as additional work and maintenance and hassle and expense. So very curious to hear how people are using CDS and whether it is a possible option to help small and medium businesses who are not necessarily power users in the ERP world. So anyway, that's some updates on CDS. Business Central printing options. I've seen this come up a few times. There are some interesting things going on with BC printing. And this article by Duilio Tacconi, if I'm saying that right, he has a nice post on the Business Central forum showing or discussing the printing options available through Business Central 16.x and whether you want to try to print to a network printer or save to PDF. He shows those options. And I believe he talks about on-prem options as well. One moment. And a few weeks ago, I believe I saw a few tweets or blog posts discussing how you can use, I guess it's called an internet printing service, essentially connect your on-prem printer to a SaaS service that makes your on-prem printer accessible as a service or as a web API or something like that, so that you can print through multiple platforms, any SaaS platform, to your on-prem printer. So I believe that a couple people were playing with that and got it to work for Business Central. I don't know if that's a fully vetted, reliable means to do that with Business Central yet, but it's on my to-do list to look into. So if you're interested in physical printing, you know, the paper thing that comes out of this box that puts black ink on paper, then check out this article and look into the blog posts about people who have investigated internet printing through Business Central. And I see regular updates about AZ/AL dev tools. And I'm not yet at a point where I can use these tools on the AL development front, but I've seen a very brief overview during a prior BC Birinar, and it looks incredible. It looks like a toolbox that has 50 plus features, like really advanced, rich functionality for AL development. And it's much more than, I guess it was originally a code outline, but now it is very much AL dev tools, a huge toolbox. And I don't know if he is going to monetize that and make that a subscription service, but for now, I believe it is free. And if you are looking into AL development and are serious into that, definitely look into the functionality of this. It's so many features that I don't know how to summarize it, but very, very powerful tool. So he's constantly making updates to that, and follow him on Twitter to hear about what's new with that product. BC Workflow is getting a lot of attention. Sarov now has 6 YouTube videos, I believe as of yesterday, covering BC Workflow. And it's over 2 hours of content from introduction, approvers, branching, the whole bit. So definitely take a look at his video series if you're interested in using or figuring out if it makes sense to use BC Workflow or learning about it. Lots of functionality there, or lots of learning content there. Roberto Stefanetti recently did a blog post on using Business Central workflows with Power Automate. So there's the out-of-the-box Business Central workflows, and then there is the extended workflows, for lack of a better term, that uses full Power Automate, and you can make those. I don't know that there's any really practical limit. It's pretty crazy how advanced you can get with the Power Automate flows, reaching out to external web services using Power Automate connectors, SharePoint, email, you name it. So if you're encountering any limitations with the BC workflows where you want to integrate with some other system or platform, Power Automate should be able to extend the workflows from BC to do just about anything you can want. Some pretty crazy stuff. So definitely check out Roberto's blog post on the Power Automate workflows for Business Central. And then if you didn't catch it, yesterday, Tanya Henderson and I did a video on a basic overview of Business Central workflows. So if you just want a very high level overview of what it is, how it works, we cover the out of the box core Business Central workflow functionality. And she's more familiar with it than I, so I just asked her some questions about how you set it up, what are the limitations, what does it cost, how do you configure the users, and how can you use this for standard, let's say an approval workflow, like your typical approval workflow for a purchase order, for instance. So that's more of an intro video if you're interested in learning from scratch. And there are lots of Business Central meetups and gatherings going on. They're sprouting up. It's fantastic. So one that's been going on for quite a while now is by Christoph, and that is the BC Beerinars. And that is on, I believe those are on Fridays, but they're in the afternoon European time, which ends up being very early morning Pacific time for me, like 7 a.m. So they're drinking beer in Europe. I'm just getting into my coffee in California, but these are really fantastic sessions, really well attended, and he curates them based on surveys that he does in advance about what content people are interested in, and then he organizes that content with a speaker in a presentation or a couple speakers in a couple presentations, and then he has some polls during the Beerinar. Fantastic sessions. So far, I believe they tend to be a little more technical, a little more developer oriented, but even if you're not a developer, you can attend and see the functionality that people are presenting and what you can do with BC and a little elbow grease and extra work to extend it. Just mind-blowing content there. So really, these are conference session level presentations. They are not recorded, so I think that gives the speakers and presenters a little more comfort level. It's just more of a private conversation among the attendees. So definitely check those out. Great sessions and really, really powerful functionality being demoed there. Next is the NavBC Open Discussion by Saurav. And those are, I think those are 10 p.m. India time, and I forget what time that is for me in Pacific time, but I believe it's a comfortable time for me in Pacific time and in the afternoon. So those are more Q&A sessions. So before those get started, Saurav tweets those out, and you can submit questions for discussion at those NavBC Open Discussion sessions. And Saurav selects those questions, puts them in the list, and he tries to answer those. And the pre-submitted questions are discussed, as well as any questions that you may have during the session. So, hey, I'm having a problem with my Docker container, or how do I go about using workflow to do this? And he tries to field those questions live during the session. So, and those sessions are recorded and available on YouTube later. So definitely check if the Beerinar time zone doesn't work for you, check out the NavBC Open Discussion, and submit questions in advance and either attend live or review the recording later. And a new one, BC Mix It Up, and it is a drink or happy hour themed session. And that one is US time zone in the afternoon Eastern. I believe it's 4 p.m. Eastern time in the US, 1 p.m. for me Pacific time, and I believe it's pretty late European time and other time zones. But that is hosted by Carrie Peters, Carrie Roswald Peters of, oh my gosh, I forgot her company name, but It is Nav BC training company, and she has fantastic training courses available. But if you haven't seen Carrie or one of her trainers present, definitely check this out. I'll be attending this. It is a free meetup, the Business Central Mix It Up, and I believe this session's choice or selected drink is a tequila sunrise. So if you're into mixed drinks, check out the recipe that she has posted for this Mix It Up session. And so lots of stuff going on, very active BC community, lots of meetups. Very cool. And if you're looking for something to watch, there is absolutely no shortage of Business Central content on YouTube. Just videos going up constantly, and there are probably a few I'm missing. So if there are any that you want to suggest, definitely let me know, and I will discuss them in a subsequent session. But Eric Hugard has been recording quite a few videos, very frequent. I think he has over 15 videos in the last week or so, 2 weeks. So lots of videos, or maybe it's the last month, but lots of videos. I believe they are mostly developer oriented, a little more technical, more advanced functionality. But as I'll mention a few slides later, he does have a kind of an intro demo for AL that is very cool that I'm going to try. And then Saurav has been doing lots of videos, as I mentioned, BC Workflow. So he is doing those and other videos, so check out his channel. And while searching for some other topic about how to use a BC feature, I came across the YouTube video or YouTube channel of Jessie Wang, I believe. And so she does kind of all sorts of different topics around both Nav and BC, and I think she shows some on-prem stuff and cloud stuff. So just kind of a mix of whatever she runs into, and she'll do quick videos on a walkthrough of how to configure and use a feature. So some nice videos there. And if you aren't familiar with it, Inecta University, Johannes has hundreds of videos on Nav and Business Central. He's been doing the videos for literally several years. So he has a back catalog that is amazing. So if you're looking to learn Business Central and have full-on training, he has hours and hours of content on the Inecta University channel. And I believe he also does training through Inecta University. So tons of content, no shortage of video content available for Business Central and Nav. And with this, we have a new video series by Jeremy, and this is fascinating. This is not just a one topic video session, and it is a very interesting overarching story and long-term progression of a large project. And this is Beginning Corporation, and it is based on a game design that I'm not familiar with, but it sounds like it involves bots and more like a Civ game or a Civilization game, or I don't quite know what the name is for it, where you will have rules and bots, and you will try to build a company, and it will have resources. It'll try to manufacture and sell. It'll have expenses. And all within the context of this game, you will use Business Central functionality, and not just core functionality. He's walking through an entire story of how you build these bots, develop them, or how he's building them, in order to have rules and iterations and cycles where these bots will have sales and marketing and manufacturing and customer service, and you have to pay your power bill. So he is live streaming this entire process and recording those sessions and posting them to YouTube. So he has done 2 sessions so far, it looks like. So I'm trying to catch up on that and understand all of the components. It's a really elaborate game that he is building. So definitely check that out. It's going to become, sounds like a long-term video series. And then once the game is developed, it will be something that you'll play over the course of weeks or months. and you will have competitions to see who wins the game and who makes the most money, who sells the most product, etc. So very interesting. So I'm very curious to see where that goes. So follow him on Twitter, and also check out his YouTube channel and subscribe to that to see the videos. And he's also on Twitch. So if you want to watch that live stream, you can see the live streams on Twitch. So very cool there. And if you haven't heard of it yet, I don't know where you've been, but the DynamicsCon conference is coming up on September 9th. Submit your sessions. I believe you have until July 26th to submit any sessions that you would like to present. Or if you have any ideas for a session, but you don't want to present it, or you're not the person to present, definitely submit the session idea and the organizers will see if they can find a presenter for it. And it is September 9th and 10th. It is free. It is for CE, F&O, Power Platform, and BC. And best of all, when the sessions get accepted and the speakers are assigned, it will go up on the website and you choose the sessions. You get to vote on which sessions you want to see. So you get your 12 votes. Once you register, you vote on the sessions you want to see. And then the top sessions get selected and they present. So definitely check those out and check out the website. And if you didn't see it, I did an entire video on this, I Need Coffee episode 6, where I reviewed all the BC sessions that were available at that time. So go check out the website, check out the session, and see which sessions you want to watch. And this is on my to-do list that I mentioned. This is a video by Eric Hugard from July 2nd, and he walks through from scratch creating a AL project that calls a simple web service that returns JSON. So I'm going to revisit the Hello World project, do a simple page extension with table extension and a custom page, custom table. And then I think I need to work through those to just revisit that and get more familiar with AL. And then I'm going to visit this project to call a simple web service and parse the JSON. So that is on my to-do list. If that is of interest, I think is a great practical example to get familiar with calling a web service, getting the response, and then parsing that. So that is what's up in the BC world. A ton going on. Check out the meetups, check out the videos, check out the blog posts, and check out what's going on Twitter. And speaking of which, I am on Twitter at SteveEndo. My blog is blog.steveendo.com. I am on YouTube, and now I'm streaming these videos on Twitch as well. So have a great day and get involved in BC.
Good morning, sun. Good morning, sun. Good morning, life. Good morning, sun. How are you? Skies above, jeeps